Tess, could you send me back a shot of Pei Pa Koa?
Would you like your own bottle? I have 3 of them.
I would love my own bottle.
I shall return.
We're right on top of it in silver Sharpie. Tokens don't touch. This episode brought to you by Pei Pa Koa.
I wish.
I have 3 of them. I had 3 of them, so...
Itty bitty bottle.
Yeah, right.
Not that that translates to audio. So it would probably be best to tell our listeners that FYI, Pei Pa Koa is an herbal sore throat syrup. A lot of voice actors and podcasters swear by it, including us, and I am sure at some point we will end up putting it as an unofficial sponsor on nerdsmith.org.
Do I need the instructions or the warning?
1 tablespoon at a time. You can't chug it. It's motor oil.
It's worse than motor oil in consistency. It's way thicker than that.
Yeah, it's super thick.
It is like a molasses.
Is this Logan's first time trying Pei Pa Koa?
This is his first time reading the instructions or directions.
Because I was going to be like, I'm so happy to be here for this.
Please consult a doctor.
Yeah, because it's an herbal remedy, so it's going to interact with certain medication.
Oh, it says you can take up to 3 tablespoons at a time.
I usually just take a swig out of the bottle because I'm gross like that.
I freebird it.
I'm the only one who drinks out of it, so I'm like, it's mine, I'll just...
Kyle, it really sounded to me like you were going to say you freebase it.
I thought you were saying is you free balls it.
Oh, God.
Black tar Pei Pa Koa.
Freebase in the Pei Pa Koa.
It's already... Oh, God.
I mean, if the description fits.
I mean, it's... Yeah, fair enough. For the record, there's a decent chance I'm not going to be editing this, so you know.
You think that he's going to be doing more than one after he hears the first one? He's like, I'm not
apologize
doing this
to the right people, Logan. These are making me more and more want to pre-edit some of these before I send them to Rich. Just ignore all that.
All right, let's get into this.
Ashport, a city on the brink. The winds of the restless sea are thick with the soot and grime of progress. The continent of Valdara is a land of adventure and magic, and while it is dragged through the smoke and into the light of a modern age, the Birchfield Institute and its operatives, the Proctors, lead the charge.
Last episode, we continued our quest through the Underdark in search of an ancient artifact called the Elemental Grimoire. Our journey took us through the Canyon of Fur, a vast expanse of darkness where we literally hugged the walls, and found it full of creatures we were desperate to avoid. We managed to sneak past a beast being trained to hunt and attack by some unseen master, as well as a solitary 2-headed giant with dueling moods to match. All the while, we were being stalked, unknowingly, by a massive spider creature with creepy human-like hands and frustratingly effective protection spells. There were a few too many close calls and a lot of frustrated thoughts, but we eventually took down our attacker. We discovered soon after, though, that we had attracted more than one hunter in the dark. Thankfully, it was a friendly one, Abe's, a towering furry hunter, and his companion, Nugget, who for the record is a very good boy. We welcomed the help of our new guide in leading us safely through the rest of the canyon. Shenanigans, shenanigans.
Abe's is a large, sort of yellowish-brown creature that looks something, you're not quite sure what he is. He's some sort of a really large half-furry creature. He almost looks like, to put a meta tag on it, like Beast from X-Men, in more of his primal state. And his little friend, Nugget, who is a cross between a badger, a mole, and a deer with a rat tail. He's got one of those faces that only a mother could love. He has to do a trade. He wanted bits of the creature. You needed safe passage, so you agreed. So you're now sitting around while he dissects and removes. Dissect's not the right word. What is it when a hunter cuts something down?
Dresses.
Dresses.
He puts a little T-skirt and a bonnet onto this creature. He's dressing it. No, that's not dressing. He's putting gravy and stuffing on the side. No, that's not it either. Okay, so he's cutting it down into the pieces. He's not removing the skin. He's just removing the sack, a few of the claws, just whatever. Obviously, he makes use of down here. You get the idea that he lives down here, and that he's maybe a survivalist type. So he's sitting there doing that.
Did he leave the nooks?
He left all the nooks alone. All the nooks are available. Is that from this game?
No.
Okay. Mike, damn it.
I like to cross the streams.
I said it yesterday and I got yelled at by you about it. Or not yesterday, but you gotta keep the crossing the streams at a minimum. We only confuse.
So you guys are sitting around the camp, or not the campfire. There's no campfire, but you're sitting around your little light of mine while he works on this creature. What do you guys do?
I'm continuing to pet Nugget and feed him my ration.
You know, rations are for you when you don't have food, right, Arthur?
Arthur, how much are you feeding him? You know we have to have enough to get through the whole place, right?
Just a little bit.
I can't create food or water yet. Like that's something some of my higher ups at the church can do. I can't do that. So, don't use all your food maybe.
We can go fishing.
I don't know that I'd want to eat anything from down here necessarily.
Now, Val, don't...
Scuttleclaw. Very good eat.
See? Our lovely guest here doesn't seem to have a problem eating down here. Let's not insult him.
You called it a gutter claw?
Scuttleclaw.
Scuttleclaw.
Very good.
That sounds much more appetizing.
Sure.
Like a crab?
What is crab?
Got 10 legs and 2 large claws and kind of walks sideways. If you give it a knife, it makes it real hilarious. You try to get back.
No. Not like this.
About the size of a dinner plate?
Yes. About this size.
Well, that didn't seem too bad.
What exactly does it look like?
6 legs, large, with claws on front. Small body, very big in rear. Almost heart shape.
Sounds interesting. If you run across one, be sure to fry one up.
Boil. Not fry.
Be sure to boil one up.
It will explode.
Jesus.
Thank you for the warning.
Also, it's not actually shaped. It's shaped like a heart. It explodes like one too.
Do not let near skin.
When it's alive, when it's dead.
Alive. Bites. Pinch.
Well, imagine it has 2 giant claws.
Haven't we already killed one of those?
We dealt with something that did have a propensity to pinch.
Wasn't the size of a dinner plate, though.
Oh, much bigger.
Depends on who the dinner plate's for.
This is true.
Abes, I have a question. Do you like living down here with all the monsters and the fur on the walls?
Abe do not live here.
Oh, where are you from?
Deeper.
The way we're going?
Sort of. Depends where you turn.
Turn around. Every now and then I
Well, we've got the map. We could show him. The next leg in the map.
forget the words
Sure.
to the
I'll
song.
pull out my journal and I'll pull my sketch of
Turn
of the map out and try to orient it. I don't really know what direction we're going right now.
So he'll kind of like follow it along, and he's like pointing, and I do not understand any of this.
Neither do we. It's fine.
what is this? And he just starts pointing. You start to explain to him a few different things and help him understand. And he's like starting to pass. So this would be here, and this is where you're going next.
Yep, sounds about right.
Wailing cairn is dangerous.
Exactly.
All dangerous. But no, my home is not there.
I'm happy to know that you're not the source of the wailing.
No wailing. Silence.
So it's called the Wailing Cairns, but there's no sound?
That's a bit disingenuous.
Unless you make sound, then you wail.
That sounds pretty awful, actually.
Well, that is deeply unsettling.
So I should prep silence, is what we're saying.
Well, I still want to be able to hear something come up.
Is short.
I'm sorry, the cairn's short?
Yes, 2,000-3,000 steps at most.
Alright, well, we could just book it like we did last time.
Silence. No book. No read.
We could run very quickly like we did last time to avoid...
No run. Silence.
Alright.
Why you come here? So dark, so dangerous. Why come?
Our people have sent us on a quest, and we seek a great treasure.
Quest. Treasure.
You don't approve of such things?
Who need treasure? Land give everything you need, including kitty cat and run kitty zoom all over camera. Fucking hell. What was Ashley doing there? She ran so fast, I'll bet there's a poop in the hallway. That was her, I'm going to eject and run. Which has happened twice in front of me. I think that's why there's poop in front of the cat litter box. She's trying to go, but it starts to move, and she gets scared and
was
runs.
drifting.
She just leaves it behind.
She drifted around the corner.
This episode is rated TV PG for bodily function humor.
Are you happy
Feline
now?
bodily function.
Oh my god. Ashley, what the hell? Okay. All right,
You know how
sorry.
hard it is to stay dignified in Adelaide's voice when you just start talking about cat poop?
Right? Sorry. So, okay. Land provide everything you need.
But not necessarily everything that you want.
Or what other people want, in our case.
Oh, I'm pretty much on board with wanting it.
Well, I mean, let me frame it this way. We traded you the carcass of this thing so that you would escort us safely through the Canyon of Fur. We're looking for something that we are going to trade to other people so that way we can get something that we want. Right?
That about covers it.
More or less.
You said you were sent
Right.
on quest.
They...
That is not for trade. That is duty or mission.
God damn it, Merrick, stop laughing.
What is funny?
Our responsibilities get rewarded with greater responsibility and more benefits of being a member of a group.
What benefits do you need?
Lost and found?
Very tiny pins.
You are lost, yes. I found you. See, land provide.
You're like our personal Jesus.
Len doesn't provide shared knowledge or innovation.
We are sharing knowledge now.
Right. Well, we come down here because there's something our employers want. And this map is showing us the general path of how to get there. So, we're coming down here, we're going to find what they want, and then we'll take it back to them, provided we survive.
I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the
Good
map.
for you.
It will be.
So what else can you tell us about this whaling cairns that might help prepare us for it?
I've only been there twice. Both times found nothing.
Any source of light that you might need or to avoid?
No light that I saw. No light is needed for me.
Ah, perfect. Well, Val, I think you'll be leading the crew.
It's a bad environment to need light. Light draws creatures
Oh.
and barking dogs. A lot of shit going on over here today, evidently. Sorry, we had oompa music till midnight last night.
Abe's is more meta than a lot of the NPCs we've encountered over the last year.
Nugget snores oompa music.
Yes. Is anybody else creeped out by Alf in the background?
No.
Keep it down, Nugget.
Just me then. Tess, we need to go to the attic and find my Alf doll so I can have mine here too.
Put them in one of the cubbies behind you.
Let's put it right there. Right there. Just.
I'm enchanted.
Do you need food I could fetch?
Wouldn't be opposed if you've got spare.
I'm always in need of food.
That's because you gave all of yours to the Nugget.
Very generous.
Yeah, I thought so.
Nugget is happy. He walks over, he just pats Nugget's belly, and Nugget
He liked it.
Nugget stays, protects you.
Much appreciated.
Wait, is Nugget the food?
No. Would you...
This is Nugget. He's a good boy.
Yeah, I know. But when push comes to shove, is Nugget the food?
So he from behind you, the creature, Abe's puts kind of appears again out of the darkness and says, "He will eat you. Do not try." And then he disappears back in the shadows again.
Well, there's your answer, Merrick.
Yes,
I think it's a
Merrick,
bluff.
please don't eat the pet.
Not even just a testing nibble.
What, crab boil's not good enough for you, Merrick?
Oh, I am a fan of good old-fashioned crab boil.
I was going to say, Ashport's port city. There's probably a lot of seafood.
It'd be for some reason into my head it popped the question of, I wonder if the scuttleclaws scream when you cook them like lobster does.
Whaling cairns.
There's just steam escaping the shells.
I
Come
know,
on.
but you know what I mean.
Next we enter the kitchen of screams and despair.
Soon we have eaten so much that we will need to go to the steam room of despair to sweat out all of the carbohydrates that we have taken in during our meal.
I'm not sure if you guys realize this would be an excellent time to have some in-character conversation that you guys have not had in a
Sure,
while.
because Abe's said that reading was useless, just to spite him, Adelaide's gonna pull out her primal elemental magic book that she's had and start sort of like angry skimming.
So what kind of things do you think we're gonna run into in the whaling cairns?
Well, hopefully if we plan accordingly, then we won't run into anything. If he said he found nothing and he's still alive, I think that's what we need to shoot for.
It's possible we'll run into some harpoons and some ropes and
Why would those be in the whaling cairns?
There are whalers in the cairns.
because of all the whaling.
Oh man.
Bonnie, you know all about those.
Nets. Cargo. Salty language.
I feel like everything's probably salty there.
It's a general crust over everything.
That's a fair assessment. Ugh. Alright, so if it's a whaling cairn full of whalers, we'll let Bonnie take the lead.
Sure, agreed. Page flip.
What would a cave whale even look like?
Landlocked?
Probably.
Arthur's mum.
Where did that come from, Merrick? That was very unnecessarily pointed.
Have you met my mom?
No, I haven't.
She's a very nice lady.
Was that one of those your mother jokes I keep hearing people talk about at the taverns?
It was an attempt at one. I'm not proficient in that.
Yeah, it didn't quite land.
Proficient in Yo Mama. Isn't that Arthur?
I've got Max Ranks. Max Ranks is the name of my penis.
Not yet.
Oh, man.
So what do you suppose these scuttle claws look like? I mean, the heart shape and everything, but are they spider? Are they crab? Or what are they?
I'm very content
Insect?
to assume giant crab.
It kind of sounded like some kind of cross between maybe a crab and an ant or something. It's got fewer legs than a crab.
Oh, and with only 6 legs, we don't have to worry about it being a spider.
True.
Have I mentioned how much I don't like spiders?
Once or twice.
I thought we weren't supposed to talk about that, Merrick.
I meant arachnids.
We might summon them.
I meant
Ooh.
the 8-legged variety.
The first rule about the spiders is you don't talk about the spiders.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Good.
Arthur, have you got a thing for me, Mum?
Merrick, we've been over this. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just then, Ames walks back in carrying a sack, and he's got a couple of animal skins. It looks like they're full of some sort of liquid, and from somewhere he seems to have gotten a pot. He starts to set everything down. Hands the 2 water skins to Merrick, and puts the pot down in front of him. The bag is squirming and moving, but he's got it tied off. He kind of just tosses it over the corner, where a Nugget gets up and is like, ooh, and comes over, starts sniffing it, and he barks out something, and Nugget's like, kind of flops down. Good Foley work. And he says, we need fire. And he starts to collect rocks.
So how big of a fire do you need?
Small, but wall first.
Okay.
Is the wall so that you can't see the light?
Yes. He starts to collect stones from around and starts stacking them up into a little half wall. Reflection, fine, direct light, call from long ways off. And he creates this little half wall and puts stones around so he can put the pot on, and then looks at Merrick.
Oh, right. And Merrick will empty the water skins into the pot.
And he reaches over, grabs the pot, and puts it on top of the fire. Okay, light.
Bonnie will prestidigitate a small campfire.
Okay. Useful. Good.
Thank you.
And he just sits there and kind of watches the fire a bit. Obviously, trying to make sure it doesn't get too big or go too far out while he waits for the water to boil. He doesn't really say anything unless you guys talk to him.
So, Abe's, what's in the bag?
Dinner.
All right, well, thank you for dinner, but what are they?
Scuttleclaws?
Yes, scuttleclaws. You say you wanted to try.
No time like the present?
Got a couple of very good ones.
Are they difficult to catch?
Not if you know how.
You seem very skilled. I'd ask for a lesson, but I don't intend to stay here very long, so thank you for putting the effort forth.
Apes, how far down into the cave system have you gone?
It's funny how you talk about my home. I come up from my home. I do not go down into it.
Oh, so your home is much, much further in.
Deeper. Not in. But yes.
So, did you come up here to explore?
I come up here to eat, to visit
Is it whom? Or what?
whomever. Some friends get a smoosh wine.
Oh,
Pugnut is interesting fellow.
Pugnut! We saved his life.
I've no doubt.
Yes, we fought something bigger.
Yeah, we just fought the, what they call it? A pinch run?
You fought a pinch run.
Yep, he's our pinch dead.
You are not as incompetent as you've led me to believe.
Thank you.
Thank you. I guess.
it's better to let people underestimate you.
That's a good idea.
Under promise, over deliver.
Water's boiling. Little one, bring me back.
Okay. Drag the bag over.
So he'll reach into or pop on the bag, just kind of reach in. He starts to pull out these creatures. There's not quite as he described. They're more of an oval shape, with one end being a little bit more narrow. They're kind of this brownish, reddish color, and about a third of their back is almost like black, like a spot. They have 6, and actually to you looks more like 8 segmented legs, but the front 2 legs have little claw pinchers on them, not big ones. And the legs kind of segment out, like they get big, and then, they kind of taper out. And they've got these little tiny heads that are long, almost look like a little, almost like a raisin, but made bigger. It's kind of shriveled and textured. And they've got little tiny mouths that you're not quite sure what they do. And he just kind of tosses that one after another in. He pulls out one, and the entire abdomen of it is completely bloated and huge, like twice as big as the others.
No.
And he tosses that one in and just tosses the rest in.
Do these look like ticks?
Yeah. Kind of.
Oh no.
Or cockroaches.
Right what you know, baby.
Was that puffy one one of the good ones?
Yes, well fed.
It looked like it was going to explode. I see why you shouldn't
Yes.
fry them.
Don't fry.
What do they eat?
What don't they eat?
Yes, they feed off of creatures like that. And he points to the spider-like creature you just faced.
Delightful.
They'll feed while you sleep,
All
and
right.
then leave before you notice.
Is it because you'd be dead?
No, they do not kill, usually. But if too many attach, then yes,
All right.
it can.
All right.
Like a swarm.
I don't think I'll be sleeping anytime soon.
Well, that's why we have a watch.
Make sure your bag's nice and tight.
Do you know of a way to prevent them from attaching?
I sleep suspended. Hammock. Very helpful,
Oh, I love hammocks.
but not 100%. Not perfect.
So how long do these take to cook?
So he, as you're about to say that, he says only a couple of minutes. And he starts to kind of fish them out with a stick. Just gets a leg out of the ground. And he kind of picks it up and just starts tossing them in front of each of you. Says, you do not eat the abdomen. You break off. Toss away. Not worth it.
So just the legs then.
And body, yes. And as you break that part off, it does kind of gush a little bit. And just he just tosses his off into the darkness. But then he breaks apart the legs, and he actually eats with the legs whole. He says, but the texture you may not like. You break and eat meat. And other than that, they're very much crab-like.
I just grab one of the crab legs and kind of like crunch it, and then
Yeah, about like that. And it's more of like a soft shell crab. So once it's boiled, it is edible with the shell if you want. But it's probably not pleasant. Although it's probably nutritious.
So you created giant crab ticks.
Yeah, why not?
hashtag world building.
You're in the Underdark. What did you expect?
Adelaide's gonna eat it, but maybe try to wash it down a little bit with a swig of that vial of specialty alcohol that she got from the smushed in foreman guy. That sticky mud stuff.
Yeah.
That seemed very pungent and might mask any unpleasantness.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's like almost like an alcoholic Pei Pa Koa.
Kind of like what you're drinking right now.
It's like a dark and viscous. Yeah.
Anyway, so he eats a couple actually, and he tosses some scraps over to
Nugget.
Thank you.
It seems odd that you wouldn't have some sort of use for the abdomen.
It's poisonous, but not in a good way. Make you sick.
Could you use it for a poison?
If you only wish to make someone sick and not kill.
3 to 5.
Okay. You go and collect the abdomens of the creatures. They weigh somewhere between about a half a pound each.
Okay. Yeah, 3 is fine.
And Merrick runs off to grab one of the abdomens we threw away.
Well, I mean...
Merrick, do you need a hand? I know you don't see well in the dark.
I help. And he goes over and cuts the hand off of the spider creature and tosses it to Merrick. And then he starts dying laughing.
He made a joke.
Yes, he did.
I think we're growing up.
Like fungus.
Friends like a fungus?
I'm a fun guy.
Like scuttle crab. What I call scuttle what? It wasn't crab.
Claw.
Scuttle
Claw.
Like scuttle claw. Grow on you.
Oh. It's funny because it's true.
There are too many references to things being viscous in this episode. Ugh. Okay. Hello, Shenanigoons. Thank you so much for listening, and we cannot wait to continue the rest of this episode with you. Slowing things down for a bit is turning into one of our favorite chances to get to know the party a little better, and we hope you're enjoying the breather just like we are. I'd first like to throw a shout out to a new member of the Shenanigoons team. A friend of ours, Rich, has joined us as another editor for the show, so an eternal thank you to Rich for pouring his blood, sweat, and tears along with the rest of us into getting these episodes put together. We are tremendously lucky to have him on board. Also, in tribute to my fervent wish that we had something a little more appetizing than giant tick monsters and rations to eat at the fire, a special thank you to our sponsor, Blue Apron. Inside of every Blue Apron box, you get fresh ingredients and step-by-step directions to help you make easy, high-quality meals at home. Like this month, there are a ton of ridiculously good-looking recipes, but a couple of vegetarian options caught my eye. A spicy vegetable fried rice with broccoli and carrots, and a chipotle sweet potato and quinoa bowl with marinated veggies and crispy tortilla strips. As a special promotion for you listeners, new Blue Apron customers that sign up with our link at nerdsmith.org/blueapron will save $40 on your first 2 boxes. That's nerdsmith.org/blueapron. And lastly, another vital member of the Shenanigoons team is you, our wonderful listeners. We appreciate all of you who join us every other week on our adventures and misadventures. If you'd like to show us your love or help us keep the lights on, there are a bunch of ways that you can support the show. The best way is by helping listeners like you find us. Leave us a review on iTunes and share Shenanigoons with your friends and followers. Let them know why you like the show and why they should check it out. You can also help us build the world of Vayl by sending your suggestions to us on Twitter using the hashtag Shenanigoons or by tweeting at us at @TheShenanigoons. Send us your ideas for NPCs, locations, magical items, including things for us to find in the Birchfield Institute Lost and Found. Another tremendous way you can help support the show is by becoming a subscriber at nerdsmith.org. We are proud founding members of the Nerdsmith Network, and your support helps us keep making the best show that we can and gets you cool stuff like entry into monthly digital prize drawings, bonus content from the show, including our Session 0, and discounts on Nerd Alerts, where you can have your favorite players or characters give a shout out to your friends and family on the air. Find out more about how to become a subscriber at nerdsmith.org/donate. Okay, back to our gracious host and our delicious meal. I wonder if Blue Apron delivers to the Underdark.
They actually don't taste... Wrong voice. They actually don't taste that bad. They're a little... gamey, maybe, but not that bad.
Reminds you of one of the specialty restaurants over there, too.
Do I even want to know?
Well, they had various types of crab, and this just tastes like one of those types of crab.
This just reminds me of home.
Adelaide has that swig of sticky mud and just, starts massaging her throat, it just, crawls all the way down.
Just makes me wish I had some melted butter and garlic.
That could be delicious.
That would probably help with the gaminess.
Spicy or not, Merrick, there's a couple of places in town that do a really nice shaker over it. I'm just gonna imagine it right now. While I'm eating whatever this is.
Scuttleclaw. Why
Thank
so
you.
hard to remember?
I don't think she wants to remember.
Yeah, I think she's blocking it out.
I don't think she's written it down.
Adelaide looks at Arthur and slowly writes it in her book. With a punctuated period at the end. Happy?
Arthur's like, no, she went to drinking first.
She's always drinking.
Even in the Underdark, she's a lush.
Only in moments of stress. Which happen to be often with you people.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
You folks who had to be convinced to join the Birchfield. Non-lifers, I'm gonna call it.
It's always been my dream to get this little pit.
You haven't exactly been in the Institute for your entire life either. It's from my understanding that we were integral into you joining it.
Which I am eternally grateful for.
What is Birchfield?
Our employers, like Merrick said.
I was just going to say, it's like a field of trees.
That's what it's named for, I assume. It's a place of knowledge. They learn about as much as they can all across the world, and they keep it in one place so that people who want to know about those things can read about it or learn about it. It's like a school, with a little more.
And they give to the less fortunate.
They make things that help people live better.
They're a paycheck.
That too. They can be lots of things.
I do not understand this need for learning at such a degree.
You can earn degrees there.
I have a whole institute.
I avoid it as much as possible.
Things are a little more complicated in some areas up there. Simple is easier, but, some of the surface dwellers like to make things a little more, difficult.
It doesn't have to be, though. Simple's not bad.
Abes, can I have another? It's quite good.
Of course. He starts. He brought plenty, so everyone should have 2 or 3 if they want.
Oh,
Then
yeah,
start passing
3.
out.
Sure.
Toss the second abdomen at Merrick's feet so he doesn't have to go find it.
Yeah, Val will do the same, actually. She'll eat hers and then
He
just
just accumulates a pile.
Where'd Merrick go? Oh, he's hiding behind the pile of abdomens. It only takes 3 to hide him. It's fine.
hide behind the pile of dead bards.
Is that a Gamers reference?
At Bonnie's simple comment, Adelaide will say, simple works for some people, but I've always found that learning's a way to improve yourself. Any kind of learning. Simple can be stagnation, but it works for some. I didn't mean to offend.
No, I've always found that if you're not applying yourself, you're often backsliding.
I think it depends on the kind of learning you find important.
What's the most important lesson that you think that you could learn down here?
Do not die.
That's actually exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, that's true. Don't die is a pretty universal lesson.
That works up there, too.
Much harder on surface. Everybody I know who go to surface dies.
You wouldn't have happened to have been friends with a large snail.
Do your friends go up there to explore, or is it more of a,
Did not say friends.
I don't know, a warfare thing?
All sorts. The smoosh people have gone. They do not anymore.
Which people do you know that got up there?
Some of my people have gone. They do not anymore.
How do you know they don't just take a shining to it and stay there?
Sometime soon, come back. They tell of the tale. How they were attacked and killed.
Yeah, I'm curious, and forgive my curiosity. What do you people call themselves?
My people?
Yeah, what do you refer to yourself? Like, I'm a halfling.
We are bugbear.
I don't think I've ever run into one.
Not from New Bearsea.
I think those on the surface sometimes are afraid of what they don't understand and react poorly to new people, new things in general.
Good thing that we are not like this. Otherwise, you would be dead.
I am very appreciative that you are not.
Agreed.
And that we're not dead.
Adelaide gets a little smile on her face and looks at Bonnie and just says, and that's why it's best to be educated.
Or just very charismatic.
Just talk your way out of problem.
And how many of those educated are the ones content to let people suffer because it keeps them where they're at in the hierarchy?
Too many. I'm not arguing that point.
This conversation just took a dark turn.
I wasn't trying to make it, but if you want to have a philosophical discussion, I'm more than happy to. Eating.
Can it wait till after we're done with, surviving down here?
Absolutely, Val. If it bothers you, I'm fine putting a pin in it.
I'm going to have another one.
Yeah. You guys can discuss it if you want. I just don't know if we should get into it right now when we should be either moving or, maybe sleeping.
Sure. Bonnie, we can talk another time, but I promise you, we're more on the same side than you think. Please don't think ill of me for...
I do not think ill of you in any way.
There's a pretty good chance that I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I'm going to have the crab sweats.
There's other reasons that I won't be able to sleep tonight.
I'll take first watch.
More like
then.
skin crawling.
Since I can see in the dark, I'll take first watch.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right.
Well, we have decided that I do have a tent, so that wasn't available
That's
last
true, there are a couple tents. Totally down for busting this out.
Are you in need of rest too, Abes? I'm happy to keep watch while you rest with Nugget.
I am fine. Nugget will get to sleep. I am fine.
I can't even tell what time it is anymore since we've been down here for so long.
I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it?
Probably not.
What do you mean time? It is...
time to make the donut.
It is correct time for sleep. The air is colder. You don't feel it?
Not really, but I am wearing a lot of armor.
Is it like a nature or survival that we might be able to roll to see if that's the case?
Arthur licks his finger and holds it up.
Unless you're acclimated to it, it's not something you're really going to be able to pull out. It's a very subtle change.
It's time to sleep.
Oh, yep, now you get it. So you guys go ahead and bed down for the evening.
Bonnie was taking first watch, right?
Yep, because she has dark vision, so she can actually see.
Yeah, that makes sense. So at her watch, Adelaide would have sort of come out and she I don't know whether she gets up well when she takes naps. Or if she's super groggy when she does.
It's a good time to find out.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like getting up out of tents. That's not
It's not really her speed, but she needs to start getting used to that.
Bonnie is adept enough with her rope, having worked on ships and stuff, that she's actually fastened herself a hammock up so she doesn't have to be in a tent. Because she's used to that shit.
That is rather crafty. So our friend went on walkabout.
Yeah, he should be back in a bit. He seems to favor a brisk perimeter patrol every now and a bit.
That suits me fine.
Suppose it's better than sitting on the hard ground.
Seriously, my back hurts.
Do you want me to make you a hammock? It'll take me a minute or two.
Do you have the rope to spare?
I've got some more somewhere. I'm sure I can find it.
I have some. You can have mine.
Sure. So she'll spend a couple minutes just affixing you a hammock so you don't have to sleep on the ground. There you go.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome. Not as pitchy as a ship. You'll stay in one place.
That's good. I don't have much ship experience.
I spent my whole life in them.
So you like them, I presume?
Very much. I do. It's strange not being near them.
Sorry if I, started a spat before. It wasn't my intention.
I didn't take it as one. But, I'm sorry if I came across as argumentative.
No, you have the right point, I think. I try to think the best of people who, commit their lives to academia, but, you know, there comes a lot of, pitfalls with having the money for that sort of thing. I'm absolutely not disagreeing on that point.
I don't have much experience with academia or money for that matter. I just knew that I wanted something different than what I had and tried to go for it, and now I'm questioning if I made the right choice. Not because I disagree with what the Institute does, it's just I wonder, in the time that I've been off the island, I've been involved in the capture and brief death of someone who I thought was helping people, and now have seen someone die in front of me and been... It's been a time. Let's just go with that. It's a lot of excitement.
I would have thought that's what you were angling for.
Some. Maybe not constant. Although, to be fair, anything is exciting when the most that happens in your town is a new ship comes in.
You will not get bored in Ashport.
No. Definitely not. Do you ever question decisions that you've made? I mean, it's kind of a silly question. It doesn't ever seem... You seem so sure of everything. I realize it's probably a silly question.
Perpetually. But, it doesn't do any good to let that paralyze you. So we just move forward. Hope for the best. Assume I'm smart enough to get myself out of too bad of a situation.
You're certainly talented enough to do it. Did you always want to be a proctor? Nothing else? Ever?
Nope, that's pretty much been it. I mean, I entertained all sorts of things as a kid. Always got a new idea in my head every time I read a book, but always sort of came back to this.
That one I can completely identify with. A new story, a new idea.
I mean, they were mostly textbooks, but yeah.
Mine were mostly fairy tales. There's not a whole lot of schooling available on the Tooth, so.
Well, I didn't mean to imply that not having tutors and universities made people less of value.
I didn't take it that way.
I only meant that if you fear something because you don't understand it, understanding it's the first step in overcoming that fear of it.
That is excellent advice.
I've made it a point to learn about a lot of things over the years.
So what does scare you? Anything in particular? Because you seem pretty fearless to me.
Not making something of myself.
I don't know that you're in any danger of that.
I do what I can. You know, first chance I get, I'm reading that book, right?
Oh, you don't think I want to also?
We did seem to get carte blanche on that.
We did. I know I talk silly games about pirates and double crossing, but it's all bluster. Not something I'd actually do. Frankly, I don't have the guts.
You're not doing too bad, for the record.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
We'll avoid trains and tigers for a little while, but other than that...
I will be very happy not to ever step foot on another train again. I'm perfectly fine with walking and or carriage or ship. I was told my mom I'd captain one, and then not so much.
Maybe you'll have a change of heart. Or nerve.
Circumstance, I think, mostly. It's hard to go after the things that you think you want when suddenly reality or expectation is staring at you in the face.
That I also understand.
Is it weird growing up in a city?
Weird compared to what?
I don't know. It seems like you get to meet new people all the time. And that's strange because I grew up seeing the same 100 people every single day.
My orbit was very small growing up, despite the city. My social circles only grew when I... Oh gosh, probably in the last year or so. It has been a bit of an adjustment, but a welcome one, so I'm sure you'll get used to it.
I hope so.
Open up your worldview a bit.
That'd be nice. My parents think I'll be back in the tooth in less than a month from when I left. Most everybody does. Even the ones that swear they'd never come back usually show up pretty quickly.
Well, my current record's a year, so you got a bit to beat.
Away from home?
Mm-hmm.
Did your parents also expect you to be back within a month?
I didn't ask.
Ah.
Well, whatever the opposite of the cold time is gonna come before you know it, so you should probably get some rest.
Yeah. I'm pretty sleepy. And so she'll climb up into her little hammock and do you at least want me to watch with you until he gets back? I know you don't have the best night vision.
The one thing I don't excel at.
At some point I think I can get a spell that alleviates that.
That would be fabulous. For the record, I got a bit of a knack from watching you before.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, she'll flicker and do a puff of air in Bonnie's face.
Ooh, nice.
Working on it.
Tighten up your aim some, you got a little gust going on.
I can curve my arrows.
Ooh, that'd actually be kind of neat. Create fire arrows too.
That is a very good point. I like that. I will think on it.
If you ever need some theory talk, I'm not hard to find.
I'll be alright if you want to get sleep. That's fine.
I like being in my head. It's a very orderly place. I prefer it occasionally to the places we end up.
Have a good night, Adelaide.
Good night, Bunny. A couple hours have passed. Adelaide's been on watch. And Bonnie, she made a hammock out of rope, presumably hanging between some rocks or something. Probably inspired a little bit by talk about how to keep the bugs off you. But partly also because of, being on a ship. And Adelaide is in a matching hammock, sort of nearby, just sort of sitting and looking through a book by firelight as best she can. Our bugbear guide is not around right now. So Adelaide's just on a hammock reading her the book she got from the Leftrin estate.
With what kind of light?
Shitty bonfire light. She's sort of like looking away from the camp so that she can get the light from the fire on her book. And so she's sort of looking out into the darkness that she clearly can't see into.
What you reading?
Oh my god. Merrick?
Good evening?
Something like that.
Kinda hard to tell.
Yeah. And apparently slight temperature is the way to go, but, fire doesn't really help. I'm just waiting for our friend to come back and tell me.
Was he off hunting or sauntering off? Finding us more delectable things to eat for breakfast before we head out?
More like perimeter watch. Making our job a little easier, I imagine.
Or just doing our job for us.
That too, I don't mind. Gives me more reading time. It's been very quiet. At least since Bonnie's been nodding off.
I mean, it is his neck of the woods.
Yeah.
So, has the book uncovered anything of use?
Filling in the gaps in some theory I had before, and finally got a bit of practical application in here. So, it's been very enlightening.
Glad to hear it. I know when I saw him, I immediately thought you and Bonnie might be the ones to use it, so...
Well, thank you for the book, then.
I mean, you chose it for your loot, so I can't really take credit for it, so I just happen to be the one to nab it.
Yep. Knowledge is more valuable to me than coin, so...
Depends on how much coin is paying for the knowledge. And who. There's certain roads you just don't go down.
In terms of money or in terms of knowledge?
Money. I'll lift anything shiny if it's left alone, but for actual pay, for work, no. There's some things that you just don't do.
I can respect that.
I think we've gotten off onto the wrong foot.
That is perhaps a reasonable estimation. Merrick, just wanted to be clear that I've been working to this point for a while, and this job matters to me, and getting this particular task done matters to me. And I know you have connections in other places, and you made agreements that I was not privy to at the time, and I didn't make. It would be nice to know where we stand when it comes to this book. Not this book, and she holds her book up. At the end of all this.
The Institute's been an institution. Sorry for any of the source.
No, it's accurate.
In Ashport for some time. And my family's had to work with, in, around, and beneath the things that the Birchfield Institute has done, and some of the things that they've stood for. I don't think that any one person should be the sole arbiter of what people should know. The Birchfield Institute is one of those things. So as far as I'm concerned, as long as the knowledge that's within whatever grimoire that we can find down here is shared, it's all well and good for me. I don't need the book. It's what's inside it that counts.
Agreed. It sounded, at least by my interpretation, that as members, even initiate members, we had some leeway to see what was in the book ourselves. It was not just a smash and grab. It was, we're part of the system now, and what we learn in the book can be utilized to help the cause. And I don't disagree that there are things that the Birchfield strives for, and they don't always meet the mark. And my interest in all of this, and my interest in being a part of this system is, I like to think, for the greater good. Not just for prestige, there's obviously that, but prestige with an honorable cause.
To be perfectly frank, I don't give a whit for honor. You can, and I respect that, but in my line of work, you can follow a code. You can have rules that you stick to, but everything is worth bending. Everything is in consideration of breaking if it doesn't fit anymore. You have to grow, you have to learn with the times, and all I want is to be able to do that. Is to be able to keep learning and growing with the times and never stop adapting. And I think this book is going to help us adapt. I think whatever's in there is important. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been hidden inside of paintings. Or such rigmarole to go and find it. Or down in the Underdark with whatever Duergar. Not looking forward to that.
We can handle it.
I'm sure we can. I'm not saying I'm in it for myself. But whatever good that I can help bring about in the world, I'm responsible for. I've got to be the strongest, and you're going to laugh at this, I've got to be the strongest tool that I can be in order to enact the change that I want to see in the world. If I gotta cut a few purse strings or slip a knife in between some ribs, well, that's what it takes. I'm not going to slip a knife between your ribs. I didn't think that needed to be said, but I mean...
You had the opportunity, but I appreciate you not taking it. I am uncomfortably easy to sneak up on, apparently.
What's this, twice now?
Yep.
No one's keeping track, though.
No, not at all.
Right, well, I'm glad we hashed this out.
Yeah, I don't know about you. This hammock is technically mine, but I'm gonna designate it the lookout hammock for now. And I'm gonna go back into a tent so I don't feel like I'm hanging in a net for whatever might be creepy crawly out here.
But, I mean, you are hanging in a net.
I don't want to fall asleep this way.
Ah, fair enough. Well, I know there's a couple tents back there. Vayl had one. She said she had room. I don't know if... I guess... Is that Bonnie swinging over there? Can't really see.
Yeah. She prefers it out here.
God bless her elven eyes.
No, I'll take a tent. And you can have at the hammock if you so desire.
Well, first time for everything.
Adelaide will get out of the net,
the hammock. It just seems like
It's a woven hammock, yeah.
it's true. And she'll close up and pack up her like a couple of her things that she had out to keep herself occupied. And before she leaves, she'll say, "Merrick, I don't want this to feel like a threat. I don't want it to seem like that. The accent, it's a little acrobatic, is all."
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm positive that it has something to do with making sure people don't have a handle on who they're talking to at any given time. And I can respect if that is the motivation. I just wanted you to know I noticed.
We all wear a variety of masks.
That we do.
Good night, Adelaide.
Have a lovely evening. And she'll go to the tent.
Fuck.
You sleep. Abe stays up through all of it, has a little chit chat with whoever's on watch. Occasionally takes off for a little bit now and then, just to scout around and make sure that you guys are okay. And then in the morning, he guides you the rest of the way quietly through the rest of the spider finger people's territory, and gets you to the entrance of the next area. And he says there's a small crack that you'll need to climb through, and then after that, you'll be up on a ledge, and then you'll be in the Wailing Cairn. You go and be safe. If you come back through here, make a call like a night bat.
Caw.
Exactly.
Is that what a night bat sounds like?
Yes.
Because it sounded like a turkey hawk.
But do not know this creature.
Evidently, it sounds like a night bat.
It's a night turkey. Yeah,
And you said that talking your way out of things was your only skill, Arthur.
I've read about them.
All right. Thank you for your help, Abes.
I will try to come and find you again to help guide you home.
Bonnie will offer up her bottle of smush wine as a thank you. Thanks. It's appreciated. Here.
What do you wish in return?
I don't want anything in return. It's just a thank you.
A gift.
Yes, a gift.
I do not get many gifts. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I feel like you'd probably appreciate this a little bit more. And there's like half a vial of that sticky mud left, and she gives that to Abe. Also a gift. You'll make more use of it, I think.
And he kind of looks at it, opens it, smells it. Oh, yes. It's good for tanning leather. And he corks it and puts it back in his bag.
Okay, yep. That tracks. And just walk away.
Adelaide, do you wear a symbol to the Birchfield Institute?
I do.
Does everybody? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all got them.
Well, but do you all wear them, is my point.
Mine's probably attached to the like scarf I have, or like my cloak or whatever.
Mine would be inside a collar, so I can show it if need be, but it's not readily apparent.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, mine's like a inside, I could whip it out like a badge.
Adelaide's got her really obviously on her lapel.
So, Adelaide, as you kind of turn around, he reaches out and gently grabs your arm to stop you, and then he kind of starts looking very closely at your pin.
Interesting.
I recognize the symbol. What is it?
It's the symbol of our employers, the Birchfield Institute.
The Birchfields. Yes. The symbol. I seen it.
Members have come down here before.
There were people who passed by, had this symbol on their bag.
Were they friendly?
I did not stop to speak to them.
How long ago?
2 days ago.
So you already love D&D, obviously, but you want to sharpen your skills as a DM or player, right? Enter Dear DM, a Dungeons & Dragons advice podcast where I sit down with your favorite dungeon masters and answer D&D questions asked by you.
Natural 20 is nudist.
A plucked kanku.
Charisma. Dumpsack charisma.
Really? Great questions in the community today. Some really fun bits to talk on and expand on. So
Episodes release every other Tuesday and are available at nerdsmith.org or wherever you get your podcasts.